Good morning. Thank you for having me. As Mike said, I'm Amanda Mewborn. I work at Piedmont Healthcare, and I'm really excited to tell you a little bit about the expansion that we're doing at Piedmont Atlanta Hospital. This building expansion focuses on customers, not only our patients, but also visitors, our staff, and our physicians. And I'm going to walk you through how the built environment and architecture can influence customer experience. This expansion is a $603 million expansion. It's located in Midtown Atlanta at the corners of Peachtree and Collier Roads. Hopefully we'll have a video in a second where you can see a virtual reality fly-through, and I'll tell you a little bit about the changes in the customer experience in this building.
Do you have something to ad-lib with, or do you want to ask some questions?
Sure. I'll start telling you a little bit about the building. It's a 16-story building. As I said, it's in Midtown Atlanta, and it's an expansion to Piedmont Atlanta Hospital. We came to this location in 1954, so this is a major expansion, about 1 million square feet. It has a new lobby, a new entrance point for our campus, as well as a lot of high-intensity diagnostic and treatment platform, like operating rooms and cath and EP labs where you have heart procedures, as well as inpatient beds. This expansion was needed due to the growing community that we have in our area. As you all know, there's a huge bolus of baby boomers that are entering into our healthcare system and require care, and that's why we're expanding on our current campus. We're about 40% complete with construction right now, and the building will open in the fall of 2020. Uh-oh, that's not looking good.
Things that you told me about. We had a CXPA meeting several months ago at, where was it, Pont City Market.
Yeah.
And Amanda presented there. It was absolutely amazing. And the thing that I took away that I'd love for her to chat about for a minute was how she got the community so engaged. Because when you think about it, a hospital doesn't just belong to the people that own it. It belongs to the entire community. And it sits on a legacy of expectations. The building is really not just the commemoration of the past brand promise, but it's the commitment to a new one, and it's very different. Talk a little bit about how you were able to gather all the information and get people on board, because you had some heart surgeons and brain surgeons that are very hard to work with.
Yeah, so this started in 2014 with our planning, and as Mike mentioned, the community involvement was a key piece for us. We had over 1,000 people give input into the design of this building. We completed the design mostly in 2016, and during that time we had engagement from 543 patients. We did that through an ambassador program that we have at Piedmont, which allowed us things like surveying, where we learned things like the #2 most important thing to our patients is what's happening with their family member or their loved one when they're not nearby. So the building was designed to try to keep the family member or your visitor with you while you're a patient, so you don't have to worry about how that person is doing because they're there with you. So you'll see that when we get into the video. We also got community input. So Piedmont Healthcare is a nonprofit health system. We're owned by the community, and so it's very important for us to engage the community in the design of the building. We're situated around a bunch of old historic neighborhoods in Atlanta, and all of those community members came in and gave their input as well. So one of the features that hopefully we'll get to show you on the video is in the front there where you see those trees. There's about 10,000 square feet of outdoor space there, and we designed that space with 7,500 square feet of shaded area where we can fit 26 market-sized tents for things like a Saturday morning farmer's market. We can fit 186 yoga students out there, so transforming the way that you think about healthcare. Instead of just having sick customers, also having well customers and shifting that perception. We also have a restaurant and a coffee bar in this space as well, so attracting people from the community. And then right behind the hospital is the Beltline. And for those of you that might not be familiar, it's Atlanta's kind of live, work, play area that runs right behind the hospital. And so this will link in with the Beltline as well.
And one of the things, because I've been a patient in a hospital that I hate, is all the waiting. You have a very different perspective on waiting and on supporting patients.
Yes, so patients don't come to us to wait. I know that all of you have probably been to a doctor's appointment and you have to wait in that bus stop style waiting room. It's very frustrating, and in this building we do not have waiting rooms because people don't come to us to wait. So there are times when family members can't be with a patient, for example, when they're back in surgery in the operating room, a family member can't be back there. So we did provide some lounges during those times, but as I mentioned earlier, the key focus was to keep the family members at the bedside with the patient as much as possible. We also, during this process, did what we called experience mapping. So value is delivered in healthcare when you're interacting with a clinician. But when you're not interacting with a clinician, we call that the time between. And unfortunately, we can't just treat you and magically make you heal instantly. All of our bodies take time to heal. And so that time between is the time when you're not with a clinician and alone. And we focused our design on that time between and how do we enhance the experience both for the patient and the visitor during that time.
Wonderful. So you guys aren't worried. All of the presentations and all of the videos will be available for you to see online. So while you might not be able to see it today, let's try one more time. Nope. You're going to be able to see all of that. And you can also see it already on
Yes,
YouTube.
it's on YouTube. It's the Piedmont Atlanta Tower, if you Google on YouTube. And I was just going to talk you through the building, but you can look at that on YouTube as well.
Amanda, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Give her a big hand.